welcome back to Music with Miss Bliss. For today's lesson, we are going to be learning to play the note A on our recorders and practicing how to switch between the notes A and B. Let's start by reviewing how to play the note B. Remember, you want to mirror me for this and you want to make sure that you have your left hand on the top. You're going to be covering the back thumb hole with the pad of your thumb and the very first hole with the pad of your first finger. And if you go to play your note B, it should sound like this. Why don't you try? 1, 2, ready, go. Great job! Now, to play the note A, all you have to do is add one more finger to cover the second hole down from the top. So you're covering the back thumb hole, the very first hole, and the second hole down. And it will sound like this. Now, let's try playing that note. Remember to listen carefully to yourself as you play so that you can decide if you need to add more air or less air, or check to see if your fingers are covering all of the holes. So let's try that together. Are you ready? 1, 2, ready, play. Great job! Now what did you notice about how you sounded? Did you have a nice clear tone? Was your tone a little bit wobbly, or did you almost squeak? Remember, if your tone was a little bit wobbly, you can add a little bit more air. And if you almost squeaked, that means that you were either using too much air or your fingers were not covering all of the holes all of the way. Check and make sure that you do that for this next time. Let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, go. How did you sound that time? If your note was clear, feel free to move on to the next exercise. But if you still notice that your note didn't sound quite right, remember to either change your air or check to make sure that your fingers are covering all of the holes. And feel free to keep trying that last exercise a couple of times and then move on to the next part. Now, let's try playing an exercise with the note A. If you've already watched my video teaching you how to play the recorder and how to play the note B, this is the exact same rhythm. So we will be playing 1 whole note, 2 half notes, and 4 quarter notes, and we will be playing the note A for all of them. So make sure that your back thumb is covering the thumb hole and your first 2 fingers are covering the top 2 holes. The exercise will sound like this. Are you ready to try it with me? I'm going to play a whole note, and then you're going to play a whole note. 1, 2, ready, go. I'm going to play 2 half notes, and then you'll play 2 half notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job. Now, if you were listening to me, you might have heard that I almost squeaked, so that means that I need to use a little bit less air next time. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to play 4 quarter notes, and you're going to play 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job. Now let's try the whole thing all together. I'm going to play the exercise once, and then we will play it together. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job! How did you think that you sounded when you played that exercise? Do you feel like you had a clear, quiet tone the whole time and it was very steady? Or did you feel like you used more air sometimes and less air other times? If you feel like there was some squeaking happening or you sounded wobbly, feel free to try that exercise again. Now that we've practiced playing a rhythm pattern with the note A, what we're going to do is we're going to play another rhythm pattern, but this time we are going to be switching between A and B. For this rhythm pattern, it's going to be a little bit different from the one that we did before. Instead of one whole note, we're going to be using two whole notes. So our first whole note is going to be the note B, and the second whole note is going to be the note A. After we play those two whole notes, we're going to be playing 4 half notes and alternating or switching back and forth between B and A for all of those. Finally, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing 8 quarter notes. This is to help you get really good at telling your fingers when to move. So if I'm going to go between the note B and the note A, all I'm going to do is put my middle finger down to cover the hole, like this. And if I need to go from the note A to the note B, I'll just lift up my middle finger just a little bit to uncover the hole. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to play our two whole notes. So I'll play a whole note B and then a whole note A. It'll sound like this. Now it's your turn. Let's play together. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job! Now that we can switch back and forth between whole notes on the notes B and A, now let's try half notes. So half notes are a little bit faster, which means you're going to have to switch your fingers a little faster. So I'm going to start on the note B, then go to A, then go to B, then go to A. So it will sound like this. Let's try that together. Get ready on your note B. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job! Now that we can play our A's and B's on half notes, let's try quarter notes. So whole notes are the longest, then half notes, and now our quarter notes will be the fastest. So our quarter note will sound like this. Are you ready to try? 1, 2, ready, go. Great job! Now I want you to think about how you sounded when you played those different rhythm patterns switching between A and B. Did you feel like you had a clear tone throughout the entire thing? Or did you feel like there were a couple of places where you squeaked or your fingers weren't moving fast enough? If so, that means that you might need to try that exercise again. One thing that can make us feel like we're not getting the switch right away is if our fingers don't move at the same time as our air does. So for example, if I were to play where my fingers and my air were not moving at the same time, it might sound like this. So if you notice, my air was starting before my fingers had moved. So we want to make sure that your fingers are moving and getting there before your air gets there. So like this. Make sense? Now, if anything was too fast for you, feel free to pause the video and try it a little bit slower. If you feel like you had that exercise down pretty well, let's try the whole thing. Are you ready? Great job! You finished today's lesson. Today we learned how to play the note A and how to switch between the notes B and A on our recorders. Check back next week where we will be writing our own recorder song using the notes A and B.